Sure it's working. Alright. So, here are the 2022-23 NFL season predictions from me, Colton Solo. So, week 1, well, I'm going to start off with my Packers. Week 1, you are on the road in Minnesota. I think this is a game that you lose. But then you come back home, you play the Chicago Bears, who are not going to be that good at all, and you win that one. Next up, you'll go back on the road into Tampa Bay, you lose. So you're 1-2. I don't know why it says you're 5th in the conference, that makes no sense. But then you have a very winnable next 4 games. You beat the Patriots. I think you beat the Giants in London. You beat the Jets. You beat Washington, and now, here you go. You got that big matchup Sunday night with the Buffalo Bills. I think you lose that one. Then you go on the road into Detroit. You win. So you're sitting at 6-3 right now with your big rematch with Mike McCarthy. Well, not rematch, but your Mike McCarthy revenge game. You win that. You beat the Titans. Now, here's a game where I think you lose to Philadelphia. Then you bounce back, though, and you beat the Chicago Bears. You're 9-4. You need at least 3 wins out of these next 4. I think you beat the LA Rams in a shocking win. You lose to the Dolphins on Christmas. But then you finish out with 2 quick wins. 12-5. Wins the division. And that's about it. Okay, just had to make sure it's saved. Next up, we're going to go with the Minnesota Vikings here, the team that... Okay, I'm not going to actually tell. Vikings and Eagles in week 2, we already have ours for the Packers. Now, I think Philadelphia beats you in week 2. You beat the Detroit Lions, so you're sitting at 2-2. You got the New Orleans Saints. I think you beat them. You got the Chicago Bears coming into town. I think you're going to lose this game to the Bears. I think they're going to catch you off guard after going to London to play the Saints. I think they're going to catch you off guard and they're going to beat you. I think you lose to the Dolphins in week 6. You go on bye. You're 3-3 at the bye. Then you got the Arizona Cardinals coming into town, and I think you lose. You go on the road into Washington, you win, but then you got the powerhouse Buffalo Bills. You lose that game. You lose to the Cowboys. You beat the Patriots. So now it's looking like you have to make a run at the playoffs. Look at these next 4 games. A win over the Jets. A win over the Lions. A loss to the Colts, however. But you finish it out with a win in New York, a loss in Green Bay, but a win in Chicago. You go 9-8. Is that enough to make the playoffs? We will have to find out. Okay, we're going to go with the Chicago Bears now. You got the 49ers coming to Chicago. I think you lose. But here's going to come up one of your only wins in week 3. Actually, you have the Houston Texans. They are not going to be as bad as last year, but not as good. Well, not good. That's what I mean. You got the New York Giants. I think this is a game where the Giants win. I just don't see it. I think then you got week 6 with the Washington Commanders, You got the Washington Commanders. I think you lose. You lose to the Patriots. You lose to the Cowboys. You lose to the Dolphins. You beat the Lions in week 10. Before you beat the Falcons and you beat the Jets. Here comes the losses in each one of these weeks. I think you are going to lose out on you're going to lose out on wins, but you're going to win in terms of, draft position. So, 5-12, no playoffs, like usual. Now, we come to the fun team, like the team that everybody loves. And honestly, I don't hate them. It's the Detroit Lions. So I think you lose to Philadelphia. You lose to Washington. You beat the Seahawks. And now you got this game with the New England Patriots in Week 5 that you lose. Lose to the Cowboys. Lose to the Dolphins. Beat the Giants. Lose to the Bills. Beat the Jaguars. Oops. I think you beat the Jets. And I think you lose to the Panthers. 5-12, same record as the Bears. But still. Now, we will go to the NFC East. You got the Philadelphia Eagles up first. So as you see, I have them already at 4-0. You got the Washington football team coming to town. I mean, you're on the road into Washington, excuse me. And I think you beat them. Doug Peterson revenge game here? Hell no. Then I think you lose to the Cardinals. You lose to the Cowboys. You start off 4-2. You beat the Pittsburgh Steelers. You beat the Houston Texans, even though I think that is a trap game for Houston. Then Washington, Philly. This, I think I'm going to have a split of the season series with the Washington Commanders. Then you have the Indianapolis Colts. Carson Wentz is returning to Indianapolis. I think you lose that game. Then Week 13, you have the Tennessee Titans. I think you win. Week 14, I think you win. That's too good of a record. I think you lose both to Dallas. I think you... Okay, the Saints one is a tough one. I think you lose to the Saints in a shocker. Before you bounce back and you beat the Giants. You go 11-6. At this moment, as of recording, that would be good enough for the 7th spot in the NFC. Now, the Dallas Cowboys, looking to actually win a playoff game this year. You lose to the Buccaneers in Week 1. You bounce back, however, and you beat the Cincinnati Bengals in Week 2. You easily win Week 3. You have not toss-up, but you got a sneaky Washington team. I think you beat them anyway. The Rams and Cowboys, oh my god, give me the Rams. Giants are coming into town for a Thursday night football. I think you win, you beat them. So at this moment, you are sitting, I believe, at, I want to say, one sec, let me count. You are sitting at 8-4, 8-3. Wait, what? Yeah, 8-3. You got multiple easy games. Well, not easy games, but multiple games you should win coming up. But first, I think you're going to have to take a loss to the Colts. You beat the Texans in your Texas rivalry. Well, not rivalry, but still. You beat the Jacksonville Jaguars. You lose to the Titans. You lose to Washington. 11-6. Good enough for the division, but not good enough for the top seed in the NFC. Washington. Your new quarterback, Carson Wentz. Here's the first thing. I think you lose to Jacksonville in Week 1. I think Jacksonville is at Week 1 or bust team. They either win Week 1 or season's over. But now you got Week 5 with the Tennessee Titans. You lose that game to Tennessee. You're 4-6. You need to start winning games. I think you beat the Indianapolis Colts. You're 5-6. You beat the Houston Texans. You lose to Atlanta. But you bounce back and you beat the New York Giants. You're 7-7. You need to win at least 2 games to make the playoffs or to even have a shot. You beat the New York Giants. But then, these 2 games right here are what keep you out of the playoff picture. You lose to both the the 49ers and the Browns. Last and certainly least, the New York Giants. First up, you got the Tennessee Titans. Lose. You got the Carolina Panthers coming into town. I think Baker Mayfield's going to make them a bona fide, like, 8 spot. Maybe not the playoffs, but I think he could lead them to the playoffs if he regains how good he was, like, 2 years ago when he was actually not terrible and led them to the playoffs. Then you have the Giants and the Seahawks. I think Seattle beats you. You're 2-13 at this moment. You beat the Houston Texans before you lose to the Indianapolis Colts. 3-14. Not a good season, but good enough to probably get you that top draft pick. Here we go. NFC West time. You got the Chiefs and the Cardinals to start the year. I think the Chiefs win this game. You got the Raiders coming. You got to go into Las Vegas. I think you lose to the new look Raiders. You lose to the Rams. Now you got a tough one with Carolina. I think Carolina beats you. I just don't know why. I just think they beat you. You got the Seahawks and Cardinals in Week 6. The Seahawks, I think, will win one of these games, but I don't think it's Week 6. I think it's going to be their road game. Next, Cardinals, Saints. Give me the Cardinals. So, you're sitting at 4-4 going into Week 9. I think Seattle will beat you that week. I think you lose to the Rams before you bounce back with a win over the 49ers. You're 5-6. You need to start winning games, and now is probably not the time to do that. You got the LA Chargers. I think you lose, but then you bounce back with a win over the Patriots. You lose to the Broncos, however, and to the Bucs before you win out, making you 8-9, just outside of the playoffs. 10th spot in the conference. Sorry, Cardinals fans, but I cannot see a playoff berth. I mean, I could see that Seahawks one flipping, but I don't know. Now for the team that, for some reason, every time I do this off camera, they go 15-2. But here's where things change. You beat the Rams. You beat the Falcons. You lose to the Niners before you bounce back and you beat the Cowboys and the Panthers. You beat the 49ers, and then I think you lose to the Buccaneers. You're 7-3. You beat the Saints. I think Kansas City, even without Tyreek Hill, has a really good shot at beating you. I'm going to say that okay, this is about the Packers real quick. Aaron Rodgers, I think, makes a lot of his receivers good. I think Adams might regress. Now back to the Rams. Week 13, you got the Seattle Seahawks. Give me you guys to win. I think this is a game that the Rams will actually probably lose to the Raiders. So right now you're sitting at 9-5. 3 games that you very well could win. I think you beat the Broncos before you lose to the Chargers in Week 17, but bounce back and you beat the Rams. 11-6. Is it enough to make it to the playoffs? The answer is hell yeah. We're going to go to Seattle now, where this one is going to be an interesting Week 1 game. You got the Denver Broncos in Week 1. Give me Denver. You got the San Francisco 49ers. 49ers are 2-6. Well, that's what the record says up there because of all the games I already did. I think you beat the Falcons. I think you I think you lose to the Saints, lose to the Chargers. So, you do not start off good at all. You start off like 3-6. You lose to the Buccaneers in Germany before you lose to the Raiders. But then you go back, you lose to the Rams in back-to-back weeks, actually 3 weeks in a row, before you go and you beat the Carolina Panthers. I think you lose to the Niners, you lose to the Chiefs, but you beat the beat the Jets, 5-12. A down year for Seattle. If they had a quarterback, I'd say they could be a fringe playoff team, but no. Here we go. The team that actually intrigues me a lot. The 49ers. I think you will beat the Broncos in Week 3. You will lose to the Panthers in Week 5 before you bounce back with a win over the Falcons. You will beat the Chiefs. You will lose the Chiefs, excuse me. You will beat the Chargers. You will win at home against the Saints in Week 12. So right now you're 9-5. You just got to win each of these games, and you're basically guaranteed a playoff spot. Here's the problem: Dolphins lose. What? Oh, sorry. I just thought for some reason it was changing sites. You lose to the Buccaneers. Now, Las Vegas, I think, is going to be really good this year. With Chandler Jones, Devontae Adams, all of them, Darren Waller, Hunter Renfrow, I think they're going to be really good this year. Give me the Raiders to beat you in Week 17. 9-8. It's enough currently for the 7 seed. But will be enough to hold on to it. Now we go to the NFC South side of things, where I think the Buccaneers are just going to steamroll this division. You lose to the Chiefs before you bounce back with 3 wins in a row over the Falcons, Steelers, and Panthers. But then you lose to the Baltimore Ravens in Week 8. You got Cleveland. If Watson plays, I think you're going to lose this game to the Browns. Now, you got the New Orleans Saints, who I think, they always get one against you. I think they will again this year. They always have Tom Brady's number, especially when he's on the Bucs. Except for 2017, they did not. I think you beat Cincinnati, so you're sitting at 11-4. I think Carolina will beat you this week, and I think Tampa Bay will win in Week 18. You will be the top seed in the NFC. Oops. Now, the Carolina Panthers. Panthers and Browns. I think Watson's not playing. I don't like that for Cleveland. Well, I like the fact that, I don't know. I don't have an opinion on that. But, honestly, the fact that he's not going to play for Cleveland says I don't think they're going to win. I think this game, I know Jacoby Brissett's a good backup, but I don't think they're going to win. I just think this is Mayfield's revenge. Next up, you got the New Orleans Saints. I think you lose. So you're 6-4. You got the Atlanta Falcons. I think you lose to the Falcons before you lose to the Bengals. But then you come back and you beat the Atlanta Falcons. You're sitting at 7-6 going into Week 11. Not Week 11, but either way. Before you lose to the Ravens and lose to the Broncos. 2 more games. You have to win both to make the playoffs. I think you'll lose to Pittsburgh. I think you'll lose to the Saints. 7-10. Not enough to make the playoffs, but higher than I usually pick them. Alright, now I'm back. So now here come the New Orleans Saints. So currently, with all the other predictions I've done, they're at 5-5. Pretty good for them. Now, you have Atlanta in Week 1. You beat Atlanta. You lose to the Bengals in Week 6. I'm just going to do all the games I haven't predicted yet. You lose to the Raiders. You lose to the Ravens. But you beat the Pittsburgh Steelers in Week 10. So all of a sudden, you just need 2 wins to make the playoffs. Look who you're playing. You're playing the Atlanta Falcons. I think you win you win at home against Atlanta. But now, you have to go on the road into Cleveland. This to basically decide if you make the playoffs or not. And I'm so sorry, you do not make the playoffs. I think you lose out by 1 game because the Cleveland Browns beat you in week 16, I believe it was. Now, Atlanta, currently at 2-10, make that 2-11 after I have you losing to Cleveland in Week 4. You lose to the Bengals, you lose to the Chargers. I think you will catch... No, you will not beat Pittsburgh. Honestly, I think you could seriously go 2-15. I do not like your offense, so I think you're going 2-15. So now we will start off with the AFC, and I can already see I have a lot of loaded AFC teams. So I guess we'll just start off with the Chiefs. Chiefs and Chargers. Give me the Chiefs, Chiefs. I completely forgot they're playing the Indianapolis Colts in week 3. Not even gonna lie. You lose to the Bills. You're 8-1. I think you lose to the Titans. The Titans just have had your number for years. I think they still do, and you lose to them in week 9 after your bye. But then you go, and you come back home, and you beat the Jacksonville Jaguars before you lose to the Chargers in week 11. You beat the Cincinnati Bengals. I think you're going to end up splitting with Denver, so that's how I would see that going. And then you have week 15. You have one of the easiest matchups of your season, because this schedule is brutal for you. But you beat the Texans. So you're 12-4. This win, if you win this game, you are guaranteed almost the top seed in the AFC. If you lose this game, you might have to fight with Buffalo for it. I think you win. I think you beat the Raiders in week 18. You have too much to play for in week 18, I think, to bench your starters. Here we go. We got the LA Chargers, a team that I'm very interested to see. Week 1, toss-up game. I think the Raiders are going to beat you in it. Before you beat the Chargers, you beat the Texans, you beat Cleveland, you lose to the Broncos in week 6. But then you bounce back, you win week 7. You go on by, you win in week 9, and now here we go, week 13. Well, basically all caught up. You can see week 10 to 12 right there. Now you have the Raiders again. I think this is where you beat them. And then you got the Dolphins coming to SoFi. I think this is probably a win for you. But then Tennessee doing the exact same thing that Miami just tried to do. They win. Oops. Before Indianapolis, you got the Indianapolis Colts. Jonathan Taylor, he always runs all over one AFC, big name. I think it's going to be you. He did it to Buffalo last year. I think he'll do the same thing to you in week 16. And then you will beat the Broncos in week 18. 11-6. How that's only good enough for 9th in the conference, I have no idea. Here we go, the Raiders. I think you lose to the Titans. You beat Denver. I think a lot of teams are going to wind up splitting the series with Denver. You got the Houston Texans after the bye, 8-4. You got the Jacksonville Jaguars. Oh wait, here we go. So you're 9-6. Basically, you have to win 2 games to make it to the playoffs. These 2 games are difficult, though. You got Pittsburgh and you have New England. I think you win both. I think the AFC West is going to be probably. Honestly, I think the 4th place team in the AFC West is going to be the Broncos. I think it's going to be Denver. I know everybody wants to hype up Russell Wilson, say he's going to go and he's going to win this division. I don't think so. I mean, he has an easy stretch of games to start with. But that game right there is what's going to rob them of that playoff spot. Actually, I'm going to swap these. I think this is what will probably happen. 10-7. Only good enough for 10th. Sorry, Broncos fans and everybody who loves to say that Russell Wilson will be in the playoffs. Well, he will bounce back this year. I don't think so. I think it's going to be another year. But better than last year for him. We're going to go with the Baltimore Ravens now. So here's what I think. You got the New York Jets on the road week 1. You win that. I mean, they could be I think the Jets game against Green Bay could be a trap game for us, for the Packers, but I don't think they beat us in that game. You lose to the Dolphins. I think the Dolphins are just going to be... Actually, no. I'm going to change my prediction. The Ravens are going to win that game before they lose to the Patriots and the Bengals too. I I think things are going to get off to a little bit of a rocky start with the Dolphins, but I think they'll eventually just pick up and just play great football. Well, not great football, but good football. You got the Cleveland Browns. I think you beat them in Week 7. Now you got Jacksonville in Week 12 for my next prediction. Give me the Ravens. I think you're going to split with both Pittsburgh and Cleveland. So win that. And then I think, honestly, these teams are going to split with each other for their playoffs. Okay, where's Cincy? Cincinnati, I can't believe I'm saying this, but I don't know if they'll be in the playoffs. 8-3, no, 7-4. I just think Miami's gonna pick it up like Week 4. Cleveland will win in Week 8, so you're 7-5. This, I think you will beat Pittsburgh. I think you'll beat the Tennessee Titans. You're sitting at 9-5. You have to beat Cleveland. You lose to the Browns, but you win here. 10-7. No, I cannot have you out of the playoffs. I honestly probably could not say that you would be out of the playoffs. So with that puts the Raiders into the playoffs, knocks the Ravens out of it, even though that should not make any sense at all. Yeah, maybe it does. I just don't think the Ravens are going to be that good divisional-wise. Wow. Oh yeah, that's right, the New York Jets start with every one of the AFC North teams to begin with. I think you will lose to Pittsburgh here, you're 7-5. You lose to New England, you're 7-6. You have to win out. Oh, no, you cannot win out. Oh, oops. 9-8. Not enough to make the playoffs this year, but watch out next year. Watch out for the Cleveland Browns next year. Now, here is where I said people are going to get mad about these predictions. I think you will lose to New England in Week 2. I think you'll lose. I think this is going to be the game that the Jets surprise everyone. Other than that game, they could do it against the Bengals. I think you guys will end up losing to the New York Jets. Before you lose to the Bills, you lose to the Dolphins. I think you can win against. I think you can beat the Indianapolis Colts. So 5-12 as your record. Get prepared to try to take like Tyler Van Dyke as your quarterback. I mean, no, you have Kenny Pickett. Never mind. I don't know what I was thinking about. I mean, unless Pickett looks like absolute crap, I'd say, yeah, Pickett will probably be the starter after, like, Week 7. I mean, not Week 7, like Week 4. You got the Bills and the Titans. I think the Titans will win this game. I don't know why. I just think the Titans are going to be ready for Buffalo this time around. I think you're going to win. Before you beat the Dolphins. You beat the Jets. I think the Patriots are going to beat you. And then you got the Bills and the Jets. I think you will sweep the Jets. You'll split with the Finns. And then I think you'll be beaten both times by the New England Patriots. 12-5, your record. Now we have the New England Patriots. I think you'll beat the Miami Dolphins in Week 1. You beat the New York Jets in Week 8. You will lose to the Indianapolis Colts in Week 9. You'll beat the Jets in Week 11. And now you got the Miami Dolphins. This is basically for a playoff spot. You lose the game. I think you lose it. Wait, how good do I have the Miami Dolphins being? Okay, that's not a fair prediction. I think you'll beat the New York Jets. You'll beat the Houston Texans. And then you're already locked up in a playoff spot. I think you will rest your starters and you will lose the Jets. Okay, that's what I think will happen. I think they can be really good. Worst case scenario, they're 11-6. Best case, they can go 14-3. Excuse me, not 14-3. Excuse me. I meant to say 13-4. Okay, where's the one game I haven't done for the Jets? Oh, it's this. I'm taking the Jets. I think it's gonna be the Jets to win that game. I don't see why everybody says the Jaguars have gotten that much better. I don't think they have. So now, we have one last division to do before we get into the playoffs. We got the Indianapolis Colts and Tennessee Titans fighting it out for that top spot. I think it's going to be a really tough divisional battle. Something like this is probably going to play out. So you're 12-4. Wait, that's no. That makes more sense. You start the year and you end it. So now, you have the Tennessee Titans at 9-4. You just need 4 wins to win the division. And the Texans are going to help you out with that a lot. Every team that I haven't predicted is going to help you out with that a lot until you get to Jacksonville. Week 1 and Week 18 Jacksonville Jaguars are 2 separate teams from weeks 2 to 17. This, I think, Jacksonville will catch you off guard like Houston did last year, and they will beat you. They will take that. Wait, one sec. Come on. They are going to take the division away from you. Actually, no, wait. Oh, no, you'd win the division no matter what. Okay, so now you just got the 2-13 Jaguars and the 0-15 Texans. Jaguars, I think you'll lose to the Texans. Oh, I just didn't do... Okay, there. 3-14 for Jacksonville, 1-16 for the Texans. Now, we will go to the playoffs. We start the playoffs off with the wild card round. We're going to start with the AFC. The Bengals and the Colts. Wait, one sec. No, that doesn't work. No, because my prediction was supposed to have the Raiders in, because the Raiders are supposed to be in the playoff. Oh, wait. Did I have... Oh, whoops. I accidentally clicked it so that the Titans would win both. Where did I mess this up? Because I had the Colts as the 4. Oh, there. Because I had the Colts as... No, I had them with 11 wins. Where did I not get it right? There, that's where it should have been. Because the Raiders should have been in the playoff, because that's who my 7th seed is. Because my 7th seed is the Raiders, so... How would that work? Would that work? No, because the Titans would have to be in there. So it wouldn't be the Titans that it would have to change. Because written down I have my prediction as Vegas is in. Because I don't think both from the AFC South are going to be in. So who do I take to it? Okay, here's what I'm going to do. Do I leave the Raiders out? No, I want my prediction that I made on paper to be accurate. Like, to be accurate. So, I'm going to swap that. And then now that works. That's what I wanted. Because that's basically what I had for the playoffs, except I had the 6 and the 5 flipped. I had it being Chargers, Bengals, and Dolphins, Bills. That's what my original prediction was. So, here we go. You got the Dolphins and you got the Bengals. I think this is a really close game with Cincinnati. I think it's the Dolphins. I think it's the Dolphins who would come out on top. Barely, by like 3 points. before, here we go. Bills Chargers. This would probably be a prime time, like Saturday, Sunday night game. Buffalo wins the game. And then Tennessee beats Vegas. Next up, you got the Rams and the Eagles. I think LA is just the much better team. I think Mike McCarthy's, he is not gonna be able to lead Dallas to another playoff win. And then Green Bay finally beats the San Francisco 49ers. Here we go. Oops, that's not what I meant. That is not what I meant. Oops. Okay, next week. Next up, so here comes the divisional round. You got Chiefs, Dolphins, Titans, Bills, Rams, Packers, Buccaneers, Vikings. We start off with the Titans, Bills, Buffalo, but I think it's the Bills. You got Chiefs and Dolphins. Give me the Chiefs. So you got a big time rematch. You got the LA Rams coming into Green Bay for a matchup with Aaron Rodgers and the Packers. The last 3 times the Rams have come into Green Bay and played in a game, they have lost. Give me Green Bay. And then Tampa Bay will beat the Minnesota Vikings. Now we have rematch of both 2020 NFC and AFC championship games, where I think the complete opposite result happens. I think it's the Bills and the Packers who win the game. Now, we come to Super Bowl. Where is the fucking Super Bowl? Okay, Super Bowl Sunday. We got the Green Bay Packers, the Buffalo Bills. Who wins? It hurts for me to say this. It's the Buffalo Bills who win this game. Lack of offensive receiving weapons is what puts us below Buffalo in this game. So that is my season and playoff predictions for each team in the NFL. Subscribe and like and subscribe. And I would like to also thank my football teammates for encouraging me to do this.